What if everything we know about human history is just the tip of the iceberg? What if entire civilizations, more advanced than we ever imagined, vanished without a trace? Welcome to Beyond the Obvious, where we uncover the secrets that challenge our understanding of reality. What if we are not the first? What if civilization isn't a straight line, but a cycle? What if others came before us, far more advanced than we are today, only to vanish, leaving behind fragments, whispers, ruins? And what if someone doesn't want us to know? Scroll the Sumerians recorded gods who descended from the heavens. Were they describing ancient astronauts, or something even more disturbing? Classical building Tartaria appears on maps, but why was it erased? Red triangle pointed up, the Great Pyramid encodes impossible knowledge. But where did this knowledge come from? Desert island Nan Madol exists, but no one knows who built it. Could it be proof of a civilization lost beneath the Pacific? Every question leads to more questions, and the deeper we go, the stranger the truth becomes. Let's begin. The Sumerians, the first civilization, or the inheritors of one. We've all been taught that the Sumerians were the first civilization, one that birthed writing, law, and some of the earliest forms of government. But what if the truth is far more complex than we ever imagined? What if the Sumerians weren't the pioneers of civilization, but instead, the inheritors of ancient knowledge passed down from a much older and far more advanced civilization? Could there be a forgotten history, one that predates the Sumerians by thousands of years? Let's dive into this possibility and explore the shocking revelations that could change everything we think we know about the dawn of human civilization. The Anunnaki, gods or advanced beings from the past. The Sumerians spoke of beings known as the Anunnaki, often described as gods who came from the sky to teach humanity. These beings were said to have provided the Sumerians with profound knowledge: astronomy, agriculture, metallurgy, and even governance. But who exactly were the Anunnaki? Recent interpretations suggest that the Anunnaki were not gods in the traditional sense. Instead, they could have been part of a superior civilization, beings who possessed extraordinary technology and wisdom, potentially extraterrestrial in nature, or descendants of a much earlier and advanced human race. If we follow this theory, it implies that the Sumerians did not develop their advanced understanding on their own. They could have inherited this knowledge from the Anunnaki, who had already mastered complex fields like astronomy, mathematics, and engineering long before the Sumerian era. The Sumerian Kings List, kings who reigned for millennia. One of the most perplexing records in Sumerian history is the Sumerian Kings List. This ancient document lists kings who reigned for thousands of years, a period of time that seems unfathomable given the natural lifespan of human beings. The kings' reigns were not mere centuries. Some kings are said to have ruled for tens of thousands of years. Could this suggest that the Sumerians were not the creators of civilization, but instead, the heirs of an earlier era of giants who ruled over the land with extraordinary power? What if these kings were part of a long-lasting dynasty passed down through generations? Their immense reigns may point to a far deeper history that we don't fully understand. What if these kings weren't mythological figures, but were part of a society that existed for millennia, only to be forgotten by time? The Sumerians' advanced knowledge, rediscovery or innovation. Sumerian achievements in mathematics, astronomy, and architecture are nothing short of astounding, yet they appear far too advanced for a civilization that was just beginning. The Sumerians developed a base 60 numbering system that we still use today to measure time: 60 minutes in an hour, 360 degrees in a circle. How could a people with limited technology develop such an advanced system? In astronomy, the Sumerians accurately tracked the movements of the planets, particularly those beyond the naked eye, such as Uranus and Neptune, planets that would only be visible with modern telescopes. The question arises, did the Sumerians create this knowledge, or were they rediscovering ancient wisdom passed down by an earlier, more advanced civilization? Some believe the Sumerians were inheriting the knowledge of a pre-Sumerian civilization, one that had reached remarkable heights in science and technology before disappearing or being lost to time. The Great Flood, a catastrophe that erased the ancients? Many cultures around the world have myths of a great flood, and the Sumerians were no exception. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest works of literature, a story is told of a catastrophic flood that destroyed almost all life on Earth. What's fascinating is that this myth closely mirrors the flood stories in other cultures, including the biblical tale of Noah's Ark. Could this flood have been a global event that wiped out an advanced civilization? Some theorists suggest that this catastrophe could have been a reset, wiping away a previously advanced society and forcing humanity to start over. Could the Sumerians be the survivors, picking up the pieces of an ancient world that had already reached incredible heights? Ziggurats, ancient structures with mysterious origins. The ziggurats of ancient Mesopotamia are iconic symbols of Sumerian civilization. These massive stepped pyramids were used as temples, reaching great heights with precise architectural knowledge. What's interesting, though, is that the design of the ziggurats seems too sophisticated for a people just beginning to master architecture. Some argue that these temples were not built by the Sumerians themselves, but were instead inherited from a previous, advanced civilization. Could the Sumerians have been repurposing the incredible structures left behind by an even more advanced race? Were these ziggurats originally created by the Anunnaki or another unknown civilization? And if so, what kind of technology and knowledge did they possess to build such monumental structures? The birth of writing, a language beyond its time. The Sumerians are credited with creating the first known writing system, cuneiform, around 3000 BCE. This writing system was incredibly advanced for its time, and it has raised many questions about its true origins. How could a society just beginning to form complex societal structures develop a fully formed system of writing? Some believe that the Sumerians didn't invent writing, but received it as part of their inheritance of ancient knowledge. Cuneiform could have been passed down by earlier civilizations who had already mastered written language as a way to document their advanced understanding of the world. If this is the case, the Sumerians may have only been preserving and transmitting knowledge that had existed long before their time. Tartaria, the forgotten empire of the ancient world. We have been taught that history follows a clear and linear path, one of slow progression from primitive tribes to advanced civilizations. But what if this is not the full story? What if there was an advanced civilization, hidden in plain sight, that flourished long before our accepted historical timelines? Welcome to the enigma of Tartaria, a lost empire that many believe was deliberately erased from our history books. A civilization lost to time. Why is Tartaria almost completely absent from mainstream historical narratives? Why do maps from previous centuries depict this vast empire spanning much of Siberia, Central Asia, and even parts of Europe, yet today it is barely mentioned? Could it be that Tartaria was not just a region, but an advanced civilization, one that possessed knowledge and technology far beyond its time? The mystery of Tartaria deepens when we examine the remnants of grand architecture, unexplained infrastructure, and technological anomalies that do not fit within the accepted historical timeline. Could it be that Tartaria was wiped from history, not because it never existed, but because it challenged everything we thought we knew about human civilization? The architectural anomaly, evidence of a lost civilization? Many researchers point to Tartarian architecture, grand domed buildings, intricate cathedrals, and sprawling complexes found all over the world, but especially in regions previously marked as part of Tartaria. These structures, built with an elegance and precision that surpasses even modern engineering, raise serious questions. Who built these colossal structures, many of which predate industrialization? How did they manage to construct such marvels with technology that, according to mainstream history, should not have existed at the time? Could it be that these buildings were remnants of a highly advanced, pre-modern civilization? Some theories suggest that what we attribute to later architectural movements, such as neoclassicism, Baroque, or even elements of Greco-Roman design, may have actually been remnants of Tartaria's sophisticated urban planning and engineering. But if that's true, why has this knowledge been buried? The mud flood theory, a cataclysm that erased Tartaria? One of the most controversial yet intriguing theories surrounding Tartaria is the mud flood theory. This theory proposes that a catastrophic global event, possibly within the last few centuries, buried entire cities under layers of mud. Supporters of this theory point to countless historical buildings worldwide where the lower floors appear submerged, with windows and doors now sitting below modern street levels. Was this an act of nature, or something else entirely? If Tartaria had advanced technology or knowledge that posed a threat to the ruling powers of a later era, could this have been an intentional catastrophe designed to erase their legacy? If so, what was so dangerous about Tartaria that required it to be completely wiped from historical records? Advanced energy systems, free energy suppressed? Many Tartarian structures feature enormous copper domes, intricate spires, and antenna-like towers that closely resemble components of modern electrical and radio systems. Some researchers suggest that Tartaria may have developed an alternative energy system, possibly akin to Tesla's wireless energy transmission theories. Could it be that Tartaria had mastered a form of free energy, drawing power from the Earth's electromagnetic field? If true, this would pose a major challenge to modern industrial energy systems, which rely on controlled and monetized power sources. Did Tartaria's knowledge of free and limitless energy lead to its downfall at the hands of those who sought to suppress this technology? The Great Exposition cover-up. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, cities around the world hosted great expositions, where vast and elaborate structures were built in an impossibly short amount of time, then mysteriously destroyed shortly afterward. Why would societies go through the immense effort of constructing massive, ornate buildings only to tear them down within a few years? Some speculate that these expositions were a cover-up, a way to pass off Tartarian buildings as temporary constructions, before systematically demolishing them to erase any traces of this lost civilization. Was the true history of Tartaria being rewritten in real time, right before our eyes? Tartaria's lost knowledge, a link between ancient civilizations? If Tartaria was an advanced civilization that predated our accepted historical timeline, could it have been a bridge between the ancient world and modern society? Many Tartarian researchers believe that the empire may have been the last surviving vestige of a much older and far more advanced civilization, one that connected cultures across the globe in ways we have yet to fully understand. Did Tartaria inherit knowledge from an even earlier civilization, much like the Sumerians are theorized to have done? Could it be that the Tartarians were the keepers of lost knowledge, scientific, technological, and even spiritual wisdom that was deemed too dangerous to remain in human hands? The final mystery: why was Tartaria erased? If Tartaria was truly a vast and influential civilization, the biggest question remains: why was it erased from history? Who had the power to rewrite historical records, remove Tartaria from textbooks, and dismiss its existence as a mere conspiracy theory? Was Tartaria's destruction a natural disaster, a deliberate war of erasure, or something more sinister, an orchestrated effort to suppress ancient knowledge? And if so, what secrets did Tartaria hold that made it such a threat? A forgotten legacy waiting to be rediscovered? The deeper we investigate Tartaria, the more we realize that history may not be as clear-cut as we have been led to believe. The grand architecture, the technological anomalies, the hidden maps, and the suspicious gaps in historical records all point towards something much larger than just a forgotten empire. Was Tartaria a global civilization that once thrived before being systematically erased? Were they the last guardians of lost knowledge, one that, if rediscovered, could redefine everything we know about our past, our present, and perhaps even our future? One thing is certain: the mystery of Tartaria is far from solved. The more we dig, the more questions arise. And maybe, just maybe, the real truth of human history is waiting to be uncovered, hidden beneath layers of time, mud, and forgotten knowledge. Are we ready to rewrite history? For centuries, we've been told that the pyramids of Egypt were built by the pharaohs as grand tombs, monuments to their reign and their passage to the afterlife. But what if this is a lie? What if the pyramids are far older than the pharaohs themselves, a relic of an advanced civilization lost to time? Let's dive into the mysteries of ancient Egypt and uncover the shocking evidence that suggests the Great Pyramid was not built by the Egyptians, but repurposed from an even more ancient and highly advanced society. The Great Pyramid, a tomb with no mummies? Historians insist that the Great Pyramid was built as a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu. But there's a massive problem with this theory. Not a single pharaoh's mummy has been found inside the Great Pyramid. There are no inscriptions or hieroglyphs inside the main chambers, unlike other Egyptian tombs. The interior design doesn't match that of any known burial chamber. So if it wasn't a tomb, what was it? The impossible engineering of the pyramids. Even with today's technology, we could not replicate the Great Pyramid with the same precision. Each block weighs between 2 to 80 tons. The pyramid is aligned with incredible precision to true north. The dimensions encode pi and the golden ratio, numbers we associate with advanced mathematical knowledge. But here's where things get really strange. The pyramid's dimensions encode the speed of light. Yes, the speed of light in meters per second is 299,792,458. The latitude of the Great Pyramid? 29.9792 degrees north. This cannot be a coincidence. How could the ancient Egyptians, with primitive tools, possibly have known the exact speed of light? Or did they inherit the pyramids from a civilization that had already mastered physics, mathematics, and astronomy thousands of years before? A power plant, not a tomb. Some researchers believe the Great Pyramid wasn't a tomb at all, but a power generator. Why? The king's chamber is lined with granite, which is slightly radioactive and capable of producing electricity under the right conditions. The inner chambers show residues of chemical reactions, suggesting some kind of ancient energy production. The Great Pyramid's shape itself is designed to conduct and amplify energy, like a wireless power station. What if the Great Pyramid once generated free energy, a technology lost to time? The Sphinx is over 10,000 years old. Mainstream archaeologists claim the Sphinx was built by Pharaoh Khafre around 2500 BCE. But geologists disagree. The erosion patterns on the Sphinx's body are caused by heavy rainfall, not wind or sand. And here's the problem. Egypt has not seen heavy rainfall in over 10,000 years. This means the Sphinx was built long before the Egyptian civilization even existed. So who built it? And why did the Egyptians claim it as their own? The Pyramid Code, a global civilization? Look at the pyramids of Egypt, Mexico, China, and Indonesia. Same stepped pyramid designs, same astronomical alignments, same advanced construction techniques. How could different cultures across the world, separated by thousands of miles, all build the same structures? What if pyramids were not just monuments, but remnants of a lost global civilization, one that existed before recorded history? Did they leave behind these structures as markers or energy centers? Nan Madol, the lost Pacific civilization. Deep in the Pacific Ocean, off the coast of Micronesia, lies one of the greatest anomalies in human history. A city of 50-ton basalt pillars, built on an isolated reef, with no known source of construction material. Modern science has no explanation for how these stones got here. But local legends? They say the stones floated into place. Could Nan Madol be the last remaining trace of a lost, advanced civilization? Let's uncover the secrets hidden beneath the waves. The impossible construction of Nan Madol. How was Nan Madol built? Right arrow, the site consists of 92 artificial islets, massive stone platforms built directly over coral reefs. Right arrow, some stones weigh over 50 tons, yet there's no clear method for how they were transported. Right arrow, no ramps, no pulleys, no wheels. And here's the biggest mystery. There is no source of these stones anywhere nearby. The basalt pillars would have needed to be transported miles over open ocean, something that should have been impossible with ancient technology. So how did they get there? Floating stones? Local legends tell a different story. Ask the elders of Pohnpei, and they'll tell you. The stones of Nan Madol were not carried, they were moved by magic. Legends speak of twin sorcerers, Alasip and Alasa, who used mysterious energy to levitate the massive blocks into place. At first, this sounds impossible, until we examine the strange electromagnetic anomalies found at Nan Madol. Electromagnetic disturbances, the energy field of Nan Madol. What if the legends are true? Modern instruments detect electromagnetic disruptions at Nan Madol, zones where compasses spin erratically and electronic devices fail. Why would an ancient civilization build an entire city on a site that disrupts Earth's energy field? Unless they understood something we don't. Could Nan Madol have once been an energy hub, a place where unknown forces were harnessed? A lost Pacific empire? Nan Madol isn't the only mystery in the Pacific. Other islands have legends of a sunken empire, a vast civilization that once stretched across the ocean before it was destroyed in a great cataclysm. Could this be the real Atlantis, a lost Pacific kingdom wiped out by rising seas or a massive event? Here's where it gets even more shocking. The DNA evidence, an unknown ancestry? In recent genetic tests, researchers found something strange. Right arrow, the people of Nan Madol have a unique DNA marker, one that doesn't match any known population on Earth. Right arrow, this means they are not directly related to other Pacific Islanders. Right arrow, their origins? A complete mystery. Who are they? Where did they come from? And did they inherit knowledge from an even older civilization? The truth is submerged. Nan Madol defies everything we know about history. Police Garlight, was it built by a lost civilization that mastered unknown energy? Police Garlight, was it destroyed in a massive cataclysm, one that erased an entire empire from history? Police Starlight, and most importantly, what other secrets are still hidden beneath the Pacific? History isn't just what we've been taught, it's what has been erased. Could an ancient, advanced civilization have existed before us, only to be wiped out by a cataclysm, a flood, or even deliberate suppression? And if they were more advanced than we thought, are we just rediscovering what they already knew? The more we look at the past, the more we realize we've been lied to. But why? And who's hiding the truth? This is just the beginning. There's so much more to uncover, and I guarantee you don't want to miss what's coming next. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to see new mind-blowing discoveries. Like this video to help spread the truth. Drop a comment, what do you think they don't want us to know? And most importantly, stay curious. The journey has only just begun. See you in the next one.